Hi, and welcome to Jeff Shrimpton's One Giant Leap podcast. Special guest today, James Sinclair, the millionaire clown. Say hi, James.
Hello, Jeff. Hello, everyone.
James is a serial entrepreneur, all-round family entertainer, and author of 3 books, 2 of which you can buy, one of it which you'll be able to buy soon. The author of The Millionaire Clown, The Experienced Business, and he's just waved at me the manuscript for his new book, which will be out soon, called Getting Customers. And I've seen James speak on stage in front of 1,000 people. Really, really entertaining public speaker. If you're anywhere near social media, you may well have come across him as well. He puts out a load of really, really good quality content. And what I like about James's content is there's lots of it and there's no fluff. It's all good. It's all good.
Thanks, Jeff.
And, oh, you're welcome. But I'd really like to talk to James today about his journey, because James started out as a party entertainer.
I like to call it magician.
Magician, I apologise. So, there's not many multimillionaires that you know out there, multi-million-pound business that can create a balloon model as fast as you can, James.
No.
Tell us how you started.
Magicians like David Copperfield. Well, actually, David Copperfield is going to be the first billionaire magician of all time. I think it happens because his contract there. It happens in April next year.
Wow.
And he's going to become. But the guy's working still. But yes, how did I start out? I had a bit of a passion for business. I had a passion for entertainment, and I merged the two together. Left home when I was really young, and really didn't have a choice really. So, Mum died when I was 17. Had nothing, and I didn't want that for me. So I was in that, in these critical life moments we have in life. It's either you sink or swim, and I chose to swim very much so. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, because I think it catches you up at some points where you need to readdress your life. But for a good 7 years, I really worked harder than probably most people do in 25 years. I've probably done the same amount of work in 7 years, which I think really, when you find entrepreneurs, that's a common theme.
Yeah, so there's the people who work 80 hours a week so they don't have to work 40 hours for someone else.
Yeah, the thing is, right, I'll tell you this, Jeff, as my career has progressed, I always thought, well, why doesn't everyone want to be a business owner? And actually my mind has changed now, especially in the last couple of years, because we've got a big business now. We employ over 450 people. There's some real challenges in building a big business, and I'm telling you now, it is not for everyone to go on that journey. You've got to make sure you've got that, the what I call the 8 traits of great entrepreneurs, and some of those are passion and resilience and vision. And if you don't have a great vision and you don't have passion and resilience in abundance, I don't think that you're going to make it. And I think that is when I've studied successful people. They have passion and resilience in the truckloads.
Well, it's really interesting you say that, because when you said you obviously had a tough time in your teens with your mum dying, and it's as I heard from what you said, that it was like, well, it was obvious that that's what I had to do. But actually, lots of people would say, well, I've just had quite a turbulent time. I'm going to play it safe and just get a steady job and get my head down. What do you think was different about you in that respect?
Well, I don't think I fit molds, really. Jeff, and I've never really fitted a mold, even at school. I have ambition more than most. One of the things I've been discovering as I've got older as well is ego is a thing that all human beings have to different degrees. And I think entrepreneurs don't have an ego to show off how much money they've got, but they definitely have an ego on about getting things done and creating stuff. I'd reference Richard Branson here. I mean, the guy is a multi-billionaire, right? He's got more money than he can ever spend in his life. And as he approaches his 70th year, he's doing space tourism. He's actually sending ships to space. The man doesn't need any more money. There's obviously something within him, within his DNA, that wants to carry on creating stuff. It's not a monetary thing, because he can't actually spend any more money. Once you start owning islands and private planes, and you've got enough planes to fly a different one every day of the week, he's past that. He's doing it possibly because he's got an ego of he wants to get stuff done. And I think entrepreneurs do have this ego, which can be good, but sometimes ego can be an enemy. And you have to really, have a chat with yourself saying, why are you doing this? Now, I was weird. Like, I was 14, 15. I can remember getting told off at school from my teachers for sitting there doodling and designing what my fleet of vans would look like for my business. That is just not normal behaviour. And I look back now and I go, that isn't normal. I used to literally fantasize about owning an organisation and making a difference and what it would do and how it would be. And that has driven me to build and carry on growing past the point where I need to for my personal lifestyle.
It's interesting. I saw something, Tony Robbins say something the other day, and it was so simple. It just smacked me right in the face. And he was talking about entrepreneurs and saying, good entrepreneurs, what they do is they make their ideas into a real thing. Yeah. And so I listened to it. I stopped in my tracks and thought, well, that's so incredibly simple. But actually the process by where you do that, because we've all had ideas, right? Ideas are cheap, execution smashes ideas all day long. That's what I really like about your content. It's about, how to create a management system to make something happen and how to deliver profit in that way. And it's such a simple definition of what an entrepreneur is, as someone who makes their ideas into reality. And it's just, I love the simplicity of it. And you could actually just go into, dig so deep into that, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and Tony's right there. I mean, I think, ideas are nothing without implementation, like I said, but I think the smartest, the best entrepreneurs, really think about, they go, right, okay, entrepreneurs, the leadership, if you like, builds the business, but it's management that makes a business. And that is what great entrepreneurs do. They're not control freaks, whereas you meet lots of business owners that are control freaks, especially inherited businesses, second generation businesses, control freaks over the business, or mid-level business up to sort of 3-4 million of revenue. They've got one owner that's a right control freak over the business. Whereas the smarter entrepreneurs that I've always met, they see themselves as owners, not the managers, and that's why I think they're really smart, and they cultivate talent, and that's what I do. I'm literally in awe of great management, and so many people don't talk about this. Like, you want a great business, then you've got to get great management. There doesn't need to be tons and tons of entrepreneurs and leaders. It's the management just makes it. A great school. You've got one head teacher and 400 teachers. Those 400 teachers are all great. Then that head teacher, just looks like he's doing an amazing job, but it's on the back of those great teachers. And the same is for business. You need to find the best quality management, and that's really what I see my job is, to find.
So if there's anybody listening, they're in that place where they're working in the business a lot, they're doing whatever the business does, and they're listening to what you're saying, they're going, yeah, I'm not being a business owner, I am just working in it. What do you think they need to do to make that shift?
So my formula for success is E plus M equals S. So it's entrepreneurship plus management equals success. What people with the wrong mindset do is they go, once I've got enough cash in the business, then I'll hire that manager or that right-hand man or that left-hand lady to come in and help me run the business. When I was 17, literally with nothing, I employed someone. I employed a lady called Jean to come in and do my administration. What I did was buy in my weaknesses. What I see so many business owners, I sound like a broken record because I say this stuff all the time. I think business owners want to buy in sales and marketing first. Now, a great salesperson, a great marketing person are better quality DNA. They think more entrepreneurially. You're attracted to them because they think more like you. What you need to do is buy in all the low value tasks first of all. And I always say to, a business, don't get a VA. Don't be such a stupid idiot, because, you're just putting yourself in a comfortable position that if you can't afford it, you can just cut the VA off. get yourself for 16 hours a week an admin person, someone that's ultra organized, that does all your bookkeeping, that does, all your administration, so that you give yourself an extra 16 hours to do sales and marketing. And that's what I did. I had Jean come in 10 till 2 every single day, work in my nan's spare room as I was building the business. And she took all the administration away from me. And guess what that gave me, Jeff? Jeff, it gave me time to do sales and marketing. But going in, getting someone that's really good at sales and marketing, usually there isn't enough budget in a startup, one-man band business to go and do that. And I think, if you, the journey from solopreneur to entrepreneur is the one the business owner needs to get over the line first of all. Once they employ one person, they're like in the top 10% in size of businesses. 70% of businesses in the UK don't even pay VAT. So if you're paying VAT, you're in the top 30%. If you start employing someone, zooming up into top 10%. Only 0.5% of businesses in the UK turn more than £10 million. So you're thinking 99.5% of businesses are all under 10 million of revenue. We got these top 500 companies in the UK that are in the FTSE 500 that amass such amount of the size of businesses. And because everyone does all they can to stop employing people. And I'm just like, what's the point? If you're not ever going to get over that hump of employing someone, then stay in employment and become the best number 2 or number 3 in a business. You can make good money being number 2 or 3 in a business.
I think
be an operations director and have a great life and not have to worry about the thing at the weekends.
Yeah, I think from my experience, people are worried about hiring people for a couple of things. Firstly, obviously expanding through people. They're thinking about not only what happens, if they can't afford that person, but they're thinking, I don't want to hire someone and then let them down and have to let them go because I can't afford them. So maybe that's just a massive excuse.
It is a massive excuse. Because sometimes, see, I done a video last night on Facebook Live about this thing I've got on my wrist. This thing on my wrist is a Fitbit, Jeff. Right, so my missus has got one, and she makes sure she does the amount of steps that she's told the thing that she wants it to do.
Yeah.
The thing vibrates on you if you haven't done enough steps. And we're in this little Fitbit app group. Now, there is some correlation to business here. Don't worry, I'm not just going off on a tangent. Let me tell you that. But that's a little bit. Now, I'm not one for fitness really, but famous Jim Rohn quote: "If you don't make time for fitness, then you're gonna have to make time for illness." And as I got a little bit older, I got this veranda over the toy shop, and I want to get it down a bit, and that's really crucial for me. So I got one of these things. It's holding me just a little bit more accountable to make sure I do that, and that's what business owners need to do. They need to say, no, I'm going to employ this person. I'm going to employ them part time. If I can't make an extra £700 a month to pay their salary, to give me some time back, to actually go and get customers. I wrote this book, then I shouldn't be in business. Because what you're building is a profitable job. And one of the things about building a business is you shouldn't be building profitable jobs. You should be building profitable businesses. And the harsh reality is most entrepreneurs, business owners, they are building profitable jobs. Then when you get to retirement, because you've got your own business, you've been using all that income, you tend to find that most of those people haven't put money aside into a pension pot or anything like that. They've got nothing to sell because no one wants to buy a profitable job.
No.
They want to buy a profitable business. So once you employ one person, you're starting to become less key man. And that is what entrepreneurs and business owners should be thinking. How can I be less key man in my business? Now, if you're not employing anyone, then you're too key man. You are the business.
I think I was having a conversation this morning about somebody and how they just need to let go and move out of the way and let the more capable people do that. And I think there's a certain here involved.
I sit with board meetings with families. I've got some clients. I do a similar thing to you, but not coaching. I like to call it non-exec work. And because I think coaching and and mentorship are two very different things. I think a coach makes you do it if you're bloody lazy and you need to, a kick up the arse and tell you some strategies and tactics. Whereas mentorship is, I've done this before. If you structure it like that or sell it like that, it's a very different thing. And I think businesses need both. I mean, I know CEOs have got a coach, but they've got 3 non-execs on their board. And the non-execs have usually retired. They've been through the process and they're giving completely different advice to the coach, and both are essential. And I when I work with some of these family businesses, the people that have been employed by the family only have got the job because they're family. That is never going to happen in the real commercial world, is it?
No.
Why? What I always say to family businesses, you guys should be owners. You should be shareholders. You should benefit from dividends, but you should only get that job if you would have passed the interview with 3 other candidates.
Yeah.
Because if you put, like you say, you put the right people in, you're probably going to get more dividends.
Yeah. Because then it's really hard to hold them account because they're your family.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that happens in family, family have a go at them more than they should. Like there's more, because it's family, you're honest with each other more and upset each other more.
The barriers are down, aren't they? You'd say something to your sibling much more viciously than you would to another human being.
Same with husband and wife businesses.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same. The thing is with husband and wife businesses, they usually are more successful than family businesses because I found that works something because there's usually a complete and utter different skill set. But when it's the family businesses, everyone's just doing the things that they're good at rather than the things that the business actually really needs.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've helped loads of families. They just need an outsider to come in and say, look, guys, you should be owners of the business, not managing the business. And they're like, oh, no one's given us the permission to think like that before. Well, I'm giving you the permission to think like that before, you should not be CEO, go and get an independent. Do you know what? If you put one independent person in on a family business, it tends to do so much better. I mean, I've got so many stories about that.
A couple of awkward moments probably every now and then.
Yeah, but I when I go and sit on family, I actually, like I say, look, guys, I'm not representing the family. I'm representing the business as an independent entity here.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I think we should be doing.
Yeah, you can play dumb and ask the questions no one dares ask, can't you?
Yeah.
It's good fun. That.
But you usually, I mean, family businesses, the rule of thumb is first generation builds it, second generation improves it, third generation loses it. And that is like for 90% of family businesses. So when you think of that third generation, they're the ones that, that shouldn't be working in that. Second generation have usually had so much coaching from first generation, but they fail to bring it on to third generation. And you see this with immigrants as well, first generation Asians coming over to Britain or from whatever country, they work really hard. Second generation, then by the third generation, I don't want to work in the family business. They start, it starts, you see this with Eastern Europeans into work really hard, building businesses from scratch. They're like entrepreneurs because they've got nothing to do. And then they get second generation there, and then by third generation, it happens all the time.
So we've not talked about anything that we plan to talk about so far, James, which is fantastic. I love that. So I was going to talk about your journey, and I was going to ask you, at what point did you decide that you were going to hire your first person? And I quite clearly see it was like 5 years before you even started in business. You were obviously fantasizing about this.
Yeah, I think that's. Again, reading Richard, I was lucky. I read Losing My Virginity when I was 16, Richard Branson's book. And he just gave me permission after reading that book that you just buy in your weaknesses. He only ever plays to his strengths. He would just buy in weaknesses. And I thought, this is like rewiring everything you're taught as a child.
Yeah.
When you're taught as a child, it's like, if you can't do something, you try again. Right? Then when you start a business, you can actually rewire your thinking, which is difficult because if you've been ingrained into you for like 15 years, the very fact that if at first you don't succeed, try again. When you go, I'm not good at accounts, right? Let's employ an accountant.
Yeah.
Operations, let's employ an operations person. I hate administration and organising things. Get yourself a PA. It's like, this is game changing. I can just do what I'm good at. Getting customers, getting ideas over the line, doing joint ventures, making deals happen. we're just focused on growing the business, not running the business. And I knew that was essential. So I was prepared to go a bit hungry for a few months when I started out to invest in management.
Mm. So
What
you
I'd always
started,
been,
you started off running, so you were doing entertainers, so you were doing more and more parties, so you hired people to do more parties, is that right?
well, no, in the first instance, so I was about 16, I was earning 1,500 quid a week doing kids' parties.
Yeah.
A phenomenal sum like 15, 17 years ago.
Yeah, I think I was cleaning toilets for £5 an hour about that same time, probably.
Yeah. So I started investing. So I bought my first house when I was 18, another one was 19. So I'd saved up the money and bought property.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I was wrong to do that. I mean, everyone wants to buy property. Well, lots of people think buying property is such low risk. Really, rather than putting all that into deposits, I should have employed someone.
Mm-hmm.
I could build the business quicker. But, it's all paid off and we've got all of our properties now. But yeah, I just had that complete and utter mindset that I needed to employ people to grow my business, because when you employ people, you're buying yourself more hours, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I find employing people keeps you accountable.
Yeah.
Because you need to make sure that you're bringing in enough cash to pay them. And yeah, I think.
So what point did you feel like you were really stepping and gearing that up? Was it when you started buying into soft plays and things like that?
Yeah. But I started out when I was 20. I mean, I do remember that fun. We had built up an events business, just hiring out equipment and, we built an agency up. But I borrowed about 700 grand when I was 20 from 21 different lenders.
Right.
And that was a tough time. And I thought, my God, I'm going to lose everything if I don't muck this up. But, if you don't risk anything, you risk everything, don't you? And I knew I understood the business, and so off we went.
So did you have doubts at that point?
No, I don't. I mean, I still have doubts now, but I know my overall strength and ability that I would, because of my passion and resilience, that, I would do anything to stay in the game.
I think the fact that you ended up getting the money from 21 different lenders shows that you had courage in your convictions there, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, some of them were bloody like loan sharks, But no, I mean, I call them loan sharks. They're like lease finance companies, but really high rates of APR and stuff. I didn't understand. I just wanted the money to get the thing open, and it was all short-term finance. So you paid it all back within 3 years.
Yeah.
It's strange, really. Like I look back then, and I was probably at my most entrepreneurial. Like every year that I've been in business, you understand more, and as you understand more, you become more risk adverse.
Yeah.
It's one of the awful things about experience is you don't sometimes give things a go.
Mm.
I know I give things a go way more than anyone else would dream of doing. I'd borrow £10 million and be able to sleep at night, and I'd borrow £100 million and be able to sleep at night. I know other people that can't borrow, £1,000 and sleep at night.
So was there a time when you felt that you really started to get momentum as you were expanding? You really started to get the leverage?
No, I think it takes 10 years for you to be super safe and not super safe, but momentum going, and to build something of real value. Here's the harsh reality, though, Jeff. Only 4% of businesses make it past 10 years old.
Mm.
So it's 96% of businesses in the UK are gone by year 10. Awful facts,
Mm. And out of that 4%, probably some of them are still those one-man bands that are just ticking along.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So what percentage of businesses that are growing and employing people are there left after 10 years? Probably 1 or 2%.
You don't even want to look into the facts of that, no. Yeah. Because it's hard. You're on a nice edge between success and failure. I do think that education into business is one of the reasons that you can be successful. But very few people would, come along and say, yeah, I'm going to pay for Jeff's advice, or I'm going to watch James Sinclair's videos, or read my books, or go to seminars, go to conferences. Now, I was 27 until I heard that there was business seminars even happening.
Mm.
I didn't even realise that there was this business education training space available. And then, even when people realise, you've got to have the will, haven't you?
Mm.
It's like, if you want to give up smoking, there's loads of ways that people can help you give up smoking. But you've got to have the will, first of all, to let people in to help. And I think loads of business owners have egos the size of bloody big, giant cruise ships that they won't let someone say, have you tried this, have you tried that?
Mm.
And that's
well, that's the thing sometimes when you say, have you tried this? Yeah, I tried that. But it's not about trying it. It's about the execution of it, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like people say, oh, Facebook doesn't work. What do you mean Facebook doesn't work? You know, it's like picking up a golf club for the first time, whacking a ball, sending it into the trees, and then saying golf clubs don't work. It's about the execution, the quality of the execution that counts.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, I think, and then there's the fear that people have as well. But fear is just usually a lack of understanding. I can always remember when I started out in business, I was so scared of VAT and PAYE when I employed someone. Oh, once you've done it for a year, you're like, what was I so scared about this for? You know, so strange. You know what dictates your decisions in life. You know, people just need to take some leaps, because then they get there that this is not as difficult as I thought.
Yeah. I mean, when I do straw polls sometimes at my live events, and I'll ask the question, you know, who's ever worried about something before? And of course, everyone sticks their hand up.
Yeah.
Who's worried about something? It turned out they were worrying about absolutely nothing. Yeah, everyone's hands go up. And the fear of the thing is worse than the thing, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why once you start employing people and taking that leap into entrepreneurship rather than solopreneurship, you know, you just have such a better life.
Mm. Again, another Tony Robbins quote is, he says that the quality of your life is directly proportional to the amount of uncertainty that you can comfortably live with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are living with uncertainty that they can't comfortably live with. And that's the problem. And as you were saying earlier, you are comfortable with the uncertainty of borrowing 10, 15, 20 million pounds.
Well, I'm not uncertain about it, because I'm certain I'll pay it back because of the skills that I've built up.
But it's the risk. There's risk involved that you're comfortable with the risk.
About.
Yeah.
Some things that, I'm uncertain about, but I'm comfortable with it because I know that I will work hard enough to sort it out. Most people might not have that faith in themselves because they haven't experienced enough stuff. And once you run one marathon, I'm sure you think running another 10 in your life is easy peasy.
Mm.
You know,
so you've mentioned fear a lot. I'm interested in how maybe you overcome fear when you come across it in your own life and head.
Well, the more things that you do, the bigger the things that you do, I just listen to some friends and family, and they talk about big problems in their life, and I'm like, I won't publicly say it. I'm like, geez, I'll tell you, like, sometimes, I've had the £500,000 payrolls in a single month.
Yeah.
And we could have had, we're a very leisure dependent business, so weather plays a big part in that.
Yeah.
So like the weather could not be on our side, and I think, oh my God, and then you're talking about, something that's so minuscule to me. That's just because they haven't experienced and done enough stuff.
You're getting stressed because you can't find your postage stamps or something.
Yeah, and you think, oh God, like, a good friend of mine, Mike Boyle, always says when people get stressed out, usually the problem's solved within 2 weeks. So why are you getting so stressed out about it? And I'm like, that is what human beings need to do is shrink that 2 weeks. Business owners need to shrink that 2 weeks. And so I was speaking to someone I've been helping that's built a successful business in Scotland, who's the control freak type business owner, and he's so worried about people doing him over. His mindset, like staff stealing from him, all of this stuff. And I'm like, so what if I do? He went, what do you mean, so what if I do? I went, so what if I do? Someone's stolen from me today. We've got 11 sites, 450 staff. Someone's stolen from me today. I accept that's happened.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was like a bit of a light bulb moment for him. I said, just work into your cost that 1% of your turnover is stolen. and just accept that.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of a light bulb moment for him. He said, "What? That's all right, but what does it matter? What does it actually matter?"
It's the meaning you give to the thing, isn't it?
So he's like, "Yeah, okay." I said, because he didn't want to employ this next bank because he was worried that they would steal from him or go and work for another company and take loads of his customers. I went, "That's going to happen. You can have all these contracts in place and do all this stuff, but you waste all that energy on it when you could just reuse your energy on getting more customers, doing progressive stuff. Just let it go." And no one had told him that that was okay to do, and off he went, and it felt so much better because I told him that if someone's stolen from you once, if you live for 70 years, I guarantee it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. But don't go around thinking that every human being's a nasty bit of work, because they're not. Most of them are good, but there's always going to be the scoundrels and toe rags. So just accept that's the case, work it in, let's get going. And I just think, I told him one of the things that we had. One of our sites, we've got CCTV at, and someone came in, and an ex-member of staff, and just opened the till and took a load of money out of the till. So my MD showed me the video, and I laughed at it. And I told him, I laughed at it. I said, we'll send it to the police. We'll never get the money back. I just, I'm not that happy about it, obviously. But I thought to myself, I can either see the funny side in this bloke's tenacity and make sure we go and get the money back through the legal procedures, or I could spend 2-3 days having the complete and utter ump about it.
Yeah.
Or I could spend 3 days getting back on, getting more customers, driving standards, looking after the team that we have got, which is so much more profitable. And what human beings do, it drives me insane that so many of them they just love pessimism and negativity, and that breeds, and that's stupid. And I just will not stand for it.
It's like generalizations that people make, isn't it? It's like this sort of generalization. You'll hear someone say something like, "Oh, that always happens, doesn't it? As soon as something good happens, something bad happens." And it doesn't. Where do you get that from?
I put a post on my Facebook group. I run an entrepreneur's Facebook group, so it's all free to do. And I just put up my thoughts and stuff on there. And today, I went round our site. And here's another thing. People always moaning that young people don't work hard and that they're useless. Today's people are useless. I'm like, that's just not true. That is absolutely not true. If you said that about the last generation, you wouldn't have the technology and the internet that we had today.
Yeah.
Every generation is going to have lazy buggers, and every generation is going to have great people that have never worked so hard.
It's only the ones that are attracted to you that don't work very hard. Why don't you try hiring some decent ones?
Yeah, and I always say good people want to work for good people. Excellent people want to work for excellent people.
You can always tell if you walk into a business, especially if it's like a retail catering business with lots of people. You can see the staff, and you just know what that manager or that owner's like, just straight off, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Reflection.
So the message for this podcast is, you got to build a team, Jeff. If you want to build a successful business, you got to build a team. You don't want a profitable job, you want a profitable business, period.
There we go. And I was just about to sum up, and you've done the job for me. You are such a pro. You're such a pro.
Say that again.
I was just about to sum up, and you've just done it for me. You're such a pro, James.
No, I just think, I feel, if I could finish off on this, I get upset for business owners that build these one-man bands. They get to retirement and then they have got nothing to sell. And I just think, why would you take the risk of entrepreneurship and business ownership, not have anything to sell? And someone needs to say it, because you don't want to get 65. I mean, the other argument is you could maybe have a one-man band business that's so profitable that you pull out half your income and put it into property or stocks and shares, whatever your tickle is. Then I can accept that.
Yeah.
Most people don't do that.
No.
So you're a consultant.
They're not intentional about it.
No. So, you're a consultant, or like if you're a really highly paid entertainer or public speaker or something, you're bringing in £250,000 a year, you funnel 125 grand of that £250,000 into property or stocks and shares, and that's building your retirement and your wealth fund. That's slightly different. They're the only two exceptions I accept, or one exception I accept, shall I say.
Yeah. Have you seen the cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki?
No, but someone showed me that. Something similar.
I'm sure I drew it the other day. Basically, you start off employed, you go to self-employed, you go to from self-employed to business owner, and then you go to investor. And what you're talking about is just skipping business owner and going from self-employed to investor.
Yes.
But the important thing is you've got business, you've got employed and self-employed on the left-hand side, owner, investor on the right-hand side. At some point, you've got to get to the right-hand side.
Absolutely. The problem is most one-man band businesses only just they have a comfortable lifestyle, so they might be bringing in, between 50 and 100,000 pounds a year. But once you've got a family and a mortgage and all of that, that all gets hoovered up. So you've got to get over that, so that you've got you need to be investing 50% of what you bring in, and if you haven't got enough to invest 50%, then it's how do you increase that? Yeah.
If anyone's listening wants to know more about the cash flow quadrant, if you go onto YouTube, Robert Kiyosaki is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he's got some great videos on the cash flow quadrant that talks about that. So to sum up, James, I'm sure the people that are listening to this have thought that James, I'd like a bit more of him in my life. He sounds like he knows his stuff. They can see you on social media, Facebook. You've got a Facebook group. How can they get into that Facebook group?
So the Facebook group, it's called James Sinclair's Entrepreneurs Chat. There's no selling in there. It really is just a community of entrepreneurs having a chin wag with each other.
Yeah, great.
And putting up their problems. So that's just a little thing that I do. The real thing on YouTube, my YouTube channel, there's over 360 videos on marketing, getting customers, business, entrepreneurship. That's just James Sinclair on YouTube. You can follow me on LinkedIn, again, James Sinclair. And then my public Facebook group or page where I put more advice. Again, there's no advertising or selling on there. It's just James Sinclair's Entrepreneurs Network. And that's Jam Gang. And the other thing I do is I run a free seminar pretty much every month called my Business Growth Seminar. That's called the Business Growth Seminar, and you can sign up for that at jamessinclair.net. And you can get my books for free at jamessinclair.net as well.
Excellent. So lots and lots of different ways that people can interact with you. Your events,
a podcast. I forgot that. We podcast.
Yeah. Your events in Essex, isn't it? Is that where you're?
Yes, I own like a zoo, a farm park, and I've got this big barn, and I hold my events there pretty much every month. I do sell into my entrepreneurs masterclass at the end, but there's no, that's a weekend course that I run, which I love running, but there's no pressure to buy or do anything like that. What we do from it is we record it all and we make more content.
Yeah.
So what I try and do is leverage all my time. So if I make a video, I leverage that into a podcast, into shareables for LinkedIn. And my whole aim is to become a paid for public speaker,
Yeah.
the world and stay in all the best hotels for free and get paid to do it, which is actually, weirdly, after 3 years or 2 years of making videos and books and stuff, that's starting to happen now, and it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Well, I've seen you in action, and I have to say, I'm not just saying this because you're but world-class public speaker, absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, thanks, mate. Maybe you can hire me, or you can ask Ian and Julie to hire me again. Good stuff.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks everybody for listening. I look forward to catching you up with you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening.